Have you ever felt frustrated with yourself because every time your life starts improving, something happens and you end up back in the same cycle again? You begin making progress, you start becoming disciplined, you start healing, you start moving forward, but then somehow you lose momentum, fall into old habits, procrastinate, emotionally shut down, sabotage opportunities, or completely disconnect from the progress you are making. And after a while you begin wondering, why do I always ruin my own progress? Why can't I stay consistent? Why do I keep falling backward? In this video, we're going to talk about why this keeps happening, the hidden patterns underneath it, and how to stop what is unconsciously destroying your own growth. This channel is about structured transformation, helping people move from reactive living to intentional wholeness. On this channel, we talk about self-awareness, emotional intelligence, destructive patterns, discipline, alignment, spiritual growth, and sustainable transformation. So if you're serious about real growth, not just temporary motivation, subscribe and join the journey. Let's get into this. Section 1. You may not be lazy, you may be in internal conflict. Many people think they ruin their progress because they are lazy or weak. Sometimes that's not the real issue. Many times, the real issue is internal conflict. Part of you wants growth, but another part of you fears change, discomfort, responsibility, failure, rejection, or even success itself. So internally, you become divided. One side pushes forward, the other side pulls backward. When your internal world is conflicted, your behavior eventually becomes inconsistent. Section 2. Your patterns are stronger than your intentions. One of the biggest reasons people ruin their own progress is because old patterns are still operating underneath the surface. Motivation may temporarily change behavior, but unconscious patterns eventually try to pull you back into familiarity. For example, maybe your pattern is procrastination, self-doubt, emotional avoidance, inconsistency, perfectionism, people-pleasing, or self-sabotage. These patterns often feel automatic because they have been repeated for years. Your life eventually follows your strongest repeated patterns, not your temporary emotions. Section 3. Why progress feels uncomfortable. Here's something many people don't realize. Progress can feel emotionally uncomfortable because growth requires change, uncertainty, responsibility, visibility, discipline, and unfamiliarity. And for many people, unfamiliarity feels unsafe. Let me give you some examples. That's why people often quit too early, return to old habits, avoid opportunities, or disconnect when things start improving. The mind often prefers familiar struggles over unfamiliar growth. Sometimes people sabotage progress not because they hate growth, but because growth feels unfamiliar. I'm going to repeat that again. Sometimes people sabotage progress not because they hate growth, but because growth feels unfamiliar. Section 4. You cannot change what you refuse to see. If you want to stop ruining your progress, you must first become aware of what keeps repeating. Ask yourself honestly, what usually happens right before I fall backward? What emotions triggers my inconsistency? What discomfort am I avoiding? What patterns keep interrupting my growth? Awareness exposes what has been controlling you unconsciously. You cannot interrupt a cycle you continue ignoring. Section 5. Alignment changes everything. Sustainable progress requires alignment. So alignment means your routines, mindset, environment, habits, and decisions begin supporting the future you say you want. For example, you cannot build peace while feeding constant chaos. You cannot sustain growth while remaining committed to destructive habits. You cannot maintain progress while avoiding responsibility. Your future changes when your daily behavior begins aligning with your desired direction. Let me repeat that again, because somebody needs to hear this. Your future changes when your daily behavior begins aligning with your desired direction. Section 6. Stop relying only on motivation. Many people ruin their progress because they depend entirely on motivation. But motivation fades. Sustainable transformation requires reinforcement. For example, reinforcement may include routines, accountability, coaching, journaling, therapy, intentional habits, reflection, structure, and disciplined repetition. Transformation becomes sustainable when consistency becomes stronger than temporary emotion. What you reinforce consistently eventually becomes your normal. Let me repeat that again. What you reinforce consistently eventually becomes your normal. If you've been ruining your own progress, understand this clearly. You are not beyond change, but transformation requires awareness, honesty, intentional alignment, and sustainable structure. Your life changes when your patterns stop controlling your direction. Hear this again. Your life changes when your patterns stop controlling your direction. And progress becomes sustainable when intentional consistency replaces unconscious repetition. If this video helped you, subscribe to Metanoia Life and join the journey toward intentional wholeness. Share this video with someone who may secretly be struggling with self-sabotage and inconsistency. And remember, stay with the progress. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. I will see you in the next one.